Welcome back, everyone. Today we're doing a deep dive into Ardelyx.
Ardelyx.
They are a biopharmaceutical company that's been making some serious waves with their innovative treatments for gastrointestinal and kidney diseases.
Yeah.
And they've got not just one,
Right.
but two potentially groundbreaking drugs on the market right now.
That's right.
And both are built on this molecule called Tenapanor.
And that's what's really fascinating, I think, about Tennopaner is that it works in a completely different way
Okay.
than its competitors.
So let's unpack this a little bit.
Yeah.
What makes Tenapanor so unique?
Well, you think about traditional treatments for high phosphate levels or hyperphosphatemia, as it's called.
Hmm.
They essentially try to mop up the phosphate in your food to prevent your body from absorbing it.
Right.
But Tennopaner kind of takes a whole new approach.
Okay.
It actually stops your gut from absorbing phosphate in the first place.
So it's like shutting off the faucet instead of trying to catch all the water.
Exactly. It targets a specific transporter in your intestines called NHE3.
Okay. Which is responsible for phosphate absorption.
Okay.
By inhibiting this NHE3, Tenapanor lowers the amount of phosphate that enters your bloodstream.
That makes sense.
This leads to fewer pills, fewer side effects, and ultimately better control of phosphate levels.
That's pretty amazing. So how does this translate into actual products? What is Ardelyx offering patients right now?
Well, they have two main products on the market right now, both built on Tenapanor.
Okay.
The first is IBSREL.
Okay.
And it's specifically designed to treat irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, as it's also known.
Got it.
It's the first and only drug of its kind to actually target the underlying cause of constipation in IBS-C patients.
Wow. And I imagine that's a pretty big deal for people who've struggled to find relief.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
IBS-C is a chronic condition that can significantly impact a person's quality of life.
Right.
IBSREL offers a new hope for these patients.
And then what about their other product?
Their other product is called XPHOZAH.
And that's used to treat hyperphosphatemia in people with chronic kidney disease who are on dialysis.
Got it.
It's a crucial treatment option, especially for patients who don't respond well to traditional phosphate binders.
So two different drugs targeting two different conditions,
Right.
but using the same underlying mechanism.
Exactly.
That's really interesting.
It is, and they're not stopping there.
Okay.
Ardelyx is also exploring the use of Tennopaner for other conditions, including hyperkalemia, which is high potassium levels.
Interesting.
It's very exciting to see how they're expanding the potential of this molecule.
Yeah, so we've talked about the science.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the market. How are these products performing?
Well, both IBSRELA and XPHOZAH are showing very strong sales growth.
Yeah.
In 2024, IBSRELA brought in nearly $158.3 million.
Wow.
With projections suggesting it could reach over $1 billion in annual U.S. sales at its peak.
Wow.
XPHOZAH also had a very strong showing, reaching $160.9 million in sales in its first full year on the market, with potential peak sales estimated at $750 million annually.
Those are impressive numbers.
Yeah.
So what's driving that success? Is it just the uniqueness of the drug, or is there more to it?
Well, I think there are several factors at play.
Okay.
Firstly, both IBSRELA and XPHOZAH address significant unmet needs in their respective markets.
Okay.
Secondly, their efficacy and safety profiles are very promising.
Right.
And thirdly, Ardelyx has been very strategic in their marketing and outreach efforts, targeting both healthcare providers and patients directly.
So they're not just relying on the science.
Right.
They're also getting the word out effectively.
Exactly.
Now, I'm curious about their global reach. Are they just focusing on the U.S. market, or are they expanding internationally?
Well, they've got a smart partnership strategy to tackle the global market.
Yep.
They've teamed up with companies like Kyowa Kirin in Japan
Okay.
and Fosun Pharma in China,
Got it.
which not only expands their reach, but also helps them navigate the complexities of those markets.
And speaking of China, wasn't there some news about XPHOZAH getting approved there recently?
Yes, XPHOZAH was just approved in China under the brand name Wantilei.
Okay.
It's a major milestone for Ardelyx, giving them access to a massive and rapidly growing market.
It seems like they're on a roll,
Yeah.
but I imagine there are always challenges in the pharmaceutical world, especially when you're a growing company like Ardelyx.
You're absolutely right. There are always hurdles to overcome.
Sure.
For instance, they're facing some changes to Medicare coverage for XPHOZAH,
Oh.
which could potentially impact their revenue stream.
Right.
And of course, like any growing company, they need to secure funding to continue their research and development efforts.
So while their financial position looks strong now,
Right.
They need to be strategic about managing their resources for the long term.
Exactly. There's always a risk of dilution if they need to issue more stock to raise capital.
Right.
And while the probability of bankruptcy seems low given their current success, it's still a factor that investors need to consider.
Well, it certainly sounds like Ardelyx has a lot going for it.
Yeah.
They're innovative, they're driven, and they're making a real difference in people's lives.
And their story is a testament to the power of taking a different approach, of challenging the status quo in the pursuit of better treatments.
Yeah,
It's a very exciting time for Ardelyx, and I'm eager to see what they accomplish in the coming years.
me too. But before we get too carried away with the future, let's take a closer look at their financials in our next segment.
Okay.
We'll delve into their revenue streams, explore their potential risks in more detail, and assess their overall financial stability.
Sounds good. So let's dig into Ardelyx's financial picture a little bit.
Okay.
They ended 2024 with a healthy cash reserve of $250.1 million.
That's a good starting point.
It is.
But how did they get there? Was it all IBSREO and XPHOZAH?
Well, those two were definitely the heavy hitters.
Yeah.
IBSRELA pulled in $158.3 million in sales last year,
Okay.
and XPHOZAH brought in an even more impressive $160.9 million.
Sounds like they found a winning formula with these two drugs.
Yeah.
But we talked earlier about some potential challenges, like the changes to Medicare coverage for XPHOZAH.
Right. That's a significant hurdle. The loss of that Medicare Part D coverage could really impact their revenue.
Yeah.
But Ardelyx isn't just sitting back and accepting this. They're actively trying to mitigate this risk.
So what are they doing to address this change in coverage? What strategies are they employing?
Well, they've been quite proactive. They've formed partnerships with specialty pharmacies
Okay.
and created patient assistance programs.
Okay.
These efforts are designed to ensure that patients can still access XPHOZAH even without the Medicare Part D coverage.
It sounds like they're really committed to finding ways to support patients and overcome these obstacles.
Absolutely.
But I'm sure these strategies come with their own costs.
Of course, Ardelyx has acknowledged that they might need additional funding down the line to support the continued commercialization of both IBSRELA and XPHOZAH,
Yeah,
especially with these new initiatives.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Bringing new drugs to market and expanding their reach requires significant investment.
Right.
And let's not forget about their research pipeline. They're investigating new therapies for conditions like hyperkalemia.
All right.
And those programs need funding to move forward.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So while their current financial position seems strong,
Yeah.
they can't afford to rest on their laurels.
Right.
They need to keep a close eye on expenses,
Sure.
explore potential funding sources, and maintain that revenue growth.
Speaking of revenue growth, their partnership strategy seems to be playing a key role.
Yeah.
We touched on their collaborations with Kyowa Kirin in Japan and Fosun Pharma in China.
Right. Those partnerships are essential for expanding their global footprint.
Yeah.
Fosun Pharma, for instance, is helping them navigate the complexities of the Chinese healthcare market,
There you
which has
go.
enormous potential.
So it's a win-win situation.
Yeah, exactly.
But partnerships always come with a degree of risk, don't they?
Of course, there's always the potential for disagreements,
Mm-hmm.
conflicting priorities,
Yeah.
or unforeseen challenges.
Sure.
Ardelyx needs to manage these relationships carefully to ensure that they remain mutually beneficial.
So it's a balancing act.
It is.
They need to weigh the potential rewards of partnerships against the inherent risks,
Right.
and they need to find partners who share their vision and values.
Precisely. Clear agreements are crucial, outlining roles, responsibilities, and expectations. It all boils down to communication, transparency, and shared goals.
Now let's address the elephant in the room.
Okay.
Dilution and the risk of bankruptcy. Are these legitimate concerns for Ardelyx investors?
Well, it's always wise to be aware of those risks.
Sure.
Let's start with bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Ardelyx's current financial position is actually quite solid. They have strong revenue growth, a healthy cash reserve,
Mm-hmm.
and their probability of bankruptcy is lower compared to other biotech companies.
So bankruptcy seems unlikely at this point.
Right.
But what about dilution?
Yeah.
Is there a chance that current shareholders might see their ownership stakes shrink?
Dilution is a possibility, particularly if they need to raise additional capital through equity financing.
Yeah.
Issuing more shares could dilute the value of existing shares.
So investors need to keep an eye on how Ardelyx manages its financing.
Right?
Will they prioritize debt financing to minimize dilution, or will they lean towards equity financing?
Right.
And how will those decisions impact their long-term financial health?
These are all crucial questions for investors to consider.
Now let's shift gears a little bit and talk about Ardelyx's long-term vision.
Okay.
Where do they see themselves in the future, and what steps are they taking to get there?
Well, they have some ambitious goals.
Okay.
They want to be a leader in developing first-in-class therapies
Okay.
for a range of conditions, expanding beyond their current focus on gastrointestinal and kidney diseases.
So they're not afraid to think big.
No, they're not.
But how realistic is this vision? And what concrete steps are they taking to make it a reality?
Well, their commitment to innovation is key. They're investing heavily in research and development, focusing on targeted molecular therapies,
Okay.
and they're actively seeking out new partnerships to broaden their expertise and resources.
So it's a multi-pronged approach,
Yeah.
building on their successes with IBSRELA and XPHOZAH,
Right.
expanding their pipeline with promising new therapies,
Right.
and forging strategic partnerships to fuel their growth.
Exactly.
It's an exciting vision,
It is.
but it's also a challenging one.
Absolutely. The biopharmaceutical industry is highly competitive and constantly evolving.
Sure.
Ardelyx needs to be agile, adaptable, and willing to take calculated risks to achieve their long-term goals.
Right.
And of course, execution is key.
Yeah.
They can have the best vision in the world,
Mm-hmm.
but it won't matter if they don't execute effectively.
Right. They need to bring those new therapies to market efficiently,
Yeah.
navigate regulatory hurdles, and build strong relationships with healthcare providers.
It's a complex journey, but one that Artilix seems well-equipped to handle.
Okay.
They have a strong foundation, a talented team, and a clear vision.
Yeah.
It will be fascinating to watch their progress in the years to come.
Now let's shift our focus back to their flagship product, IBSRELA,
Okay.
and delve into why it's generating so much buzz in the IBS-C market.
Right.
We've talked a lot about Ardelyx's potential and their innovative approach to drug development. But let's get really specific here.
Okay.
What is it about IBSRELA that's making such a splash in the IBS-C market?
You know, it really comes down to IBSRELA addressing a major unmet need.
Okay.
For many people with IBS-C, existing treatments just don't cut it.
Yeah.
You know, they might offer temporary relief,
Right.
but they don't really address the root cause of the problem.
So it's not just about masking the symptoms, it's
Yeah.
about actually tackling the underlying issue.
Exactly. IBSRELA works by targeting a specific mechanism in the gut, reducing sodium absorption to help alleviate constipation. That, combined with a strong safety and efficacy profile, makes it a real game changer for those struggling with IBS-C.
And it's not just anecdotal evidence, right?
No,
We've seen the impressive sales figures.
the numbers speak for themselves. In 2024 alone, IBSRELA generated $158.3 million in sales.
Wow.
And projections indicate it could exceed $1 billion annually in the U.S. at its peak.
Those are some serious numbers.
Yeah.
It sounds like they've really hit a home run with this drug.
I think so. And what's even more impressive is that they're achieving the success despite stiff competition from some major players in the gastrointestinal field.
Wow.
It really speaks to the effectiveness and appeal of their approach.
So speaking of competition, how does IBSRELA actually stack up against other treatments for IBS-C?
Yeah.
What makes it stand out?
Well, one key differentiator is its mechanism of action.
Okay.
Unlike some medications that primarily focus on gut motility or fluid secretion, IBSRELA targets sodium absorption. This novel approach offers a new option for patients who haven't had success with other therapies.
So it's carving out its own space in the market
Right.
rather than just trying to be a Me Too drug.
Exactly. And Ardelyx is very smart about promoting this unique selling point.
Okay.
They're emphasizing the benefits of this targeted approach to healthcare providers and patients, highlighting the science behind it.
But they're not just focused on the science, right?
Right.
They're also paying attention to the patient experience.
Absolutely. That's a crucial part of their strategy. They highlight patient-friendly features like a reduced pill burden
Okay.
and a lower risk of certain side effects.
Got it.
It's a very holistic approach.
And it seems to be working.
Yeah.
The strong sales and growing market share suggest that IBSRELA is resonating with both doctors and patients.
It's a testament to Ardelyx's vision.
Yeah.
You know, they dared to challenge the status quo
Yeah.
and develop a truly innovative treatment that's really making a difference.
Well, this has been a fascinating deep dive into Ardelyx.
It has.
We've explored their innovative approach, their groundbreaking drugs, their strategic partnerships, and their ambitious vision for the future.
Yeah,
It's been quite a journey.
it has been.
So what's the one key takeaway you think our listeners should remember about Ardelyx?
Well, I think Ardelyx proves that a patient-centric approach combined with true innovation,
Yeah.
can lead to remarkable success in the pharmaceutical world.
Yeah.
They've dared to be different,
Yeah.
and their commitment to addressing unmet medical needs is truly inspiring.
Their story is one of bold ideas, scientific breakthroughs,
Right?
and a relentless pursuit of better treatments for those who need them most.
Absolutely.
It's really exciting to think about what they might accomplish next.
Indeed, Ardelyx reminds us that the world of medicine is constantly evolving. There's always hope for new discoveries and better solutions.
Yeah.
Their work embodies the power of human ingenuity and determination.
Well, that concludes our deep dive into Ardelyx. We hope you found this exploration as insightful as we have. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.